Hey guys, it's Kevin. So this is my iPhone 15 Pro Max in blue titanium that I've been using for the past 6 months. It doesn't seem like a long time, but as a tech head who uses 2 phones, you learn a lot about how much you actually use the new features. In this video, I'll give you an update on what's been like using this as my daily driver, so let's get started. I'm that type of person who doesn't use a case or screen protector. I know I'm living the dangerous life, but I'm pretty careful with my phone. Minus the 2 times that I dropped it on hardwood floor, but it probably damaged the floor more than the phone. And it's all thanks to that new material that Apple introduced, titanium. The frame still looks like new, unlike stainless steel, but darker colors like blue and black tend to show more fingerprints. Even though titanium is stronger, its greatest feature by far is its weight. Compared to last year's model, the 15 Pro Max weighs about 19 grams lighter. I don't even have that pinky indent thing. The matte back has held up pretty well, but the screen has some micro scratches that you can see in bright lighting. And speaking of the screen, the iPhone 15 Pro Max definitely has one of the best ones out there. The text is sharp, the colors are accurate, and the brightness makes it seeing it outside easier. But the rest of the design is essentially identical to that of the iPhone 12 Pro Max from 2020. The only exception is a little softening around the edges and thinner bezels surrounding the screen. Before the iPhone 15 Pro models, iPhones came with that iconic mute switch. But this year, well, last year, Apple tweaked things a bit to give its Pro customers something new, the action button. Although the default action is muting the phone, there's also a new icon in Control Center. But my iPhone is always in silent mode, so I'm happy I can remap it to anything I want. When I first used it, I set it to camera, but I got used to the lock screen widget. Then I set it to Google Assistant, and now mine is set to video recording since I shoot about every YouTube video on here. The only complaint I have is that the button is a little high up on the phone. If you want to see everything the action button can do, I'll link my YouTube short in the description box below. The Shift 2 Titanium and the action button are great additions to the iPhone 15 Pro Max, but the transition of Lightning to USB-C is another nice welcome. I can now use one USB-C cable and power adapter to charge all of my devices, but I still need that Lightning cable for AirPods Max and the Magic Trackpad too. And if I really wanted to, I can charge other devices like AirPods or other phones up to 4.5 watts. But what's more intriguing is the amount of USB-C accessories I can connect to the iPhone. I tried gaming controllers like the Backbone 1, a CalDigit TS4 that's hooked up to a 4K monitor, Ethernet adapters, and an SD card reader. But recently, I've been using an external SSD or flash drive to back up my YouTube clips and import them into Final Cut Pro. I still use AirDrop from time to time since it's more convenient. The A17 Pro, based off a 3nm processor, powers the iPhone 15 Pro models, and it's the first Pro chip for iPhone. Apple claims it's 20% faster in the GPU department and 10% faster in terms of CPU. Year-over-year gains aren't that significant, so I barely notice a difference. But you know what? I never had any issues regarding performance on any iPhone. Apps open quickly, and switching between them is super smooth. The only area where I see a jump in performance is gaming. The A17 Pro supports advanced ray tracing graphics, providing more realistic console caliber games. I played Honkai Star Rail on the max settings, and the game runs near perfect. And combined with the Backbone 1, it feels like a handheld console. Now let's talk about battery life. Even with about 4 hours of screen on time per day, the iPhone 15 Pro Max can last me about 1.5 days. So with my moderate use of messaging, social media, and watching videos, I normally charge it every other day. And even a busy day when I'm out and about at Disneyland, the phone can still last me the entire day. And this is with heavy usage like max brightness, pictures, videos, and 5G. I've been charging it wirelessly with a MagSafe charger since I got it, and the battery health is still at 100% and the battery cycle is at 104. And Apple recently stated that the iPhone 15 series can retain 80% of its original capacity at 1000 complete charge cycles. But what about the camera side of things? To be honest, I can barely tell the difference between last year's cameras, but the new telephoto is nice to have. With a 5x optical zoom, the 15 Pro Max has more reach than the previous generations, and it can zoom up to 25x digitally. Some smartphone photographers can benefit from the new primary camera features, which can now take pictures at 3 different focal lengths, 24, 28, or 35mm, and shoot 24 megapixel images by default. I almost never use the new focal lengths though. The only time I do is for thumbnails. I switch to the 28mm or 35 to make sure everything is centered, then take the shot at the normal 1x. As someone who used the Pixel 8 Pro and Galaxy S24 Ultra, the cameras on the iPhone 15 Pro Max are pretty similar in terms of megapixel and zoom, but I prefer the picture quality on Google and Samsung phones. But for videos, the iPhone wins by far. It's still my go-to phone for content creation. I shoot in the normal HDR mode, but I would like to try ProRes someday, even though the file sizes are massive. So the iPhone 15 Pro Max is Apple's best large phone to date, but for everyday use, the main differences are the titanium sides, lighter weight, and of course, USB-C. There are Android phones that beat the iPhone on paper, but I still come back to this one. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you'll be notified when I post new videos. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!